Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for episode 3 of Survivor 44. My name is Mike Bloom here to sit Shiva for one of the standout cast members of this season. Applicable that we are sitting since we are talking about Claire's surprise boot from episode 3 of Survivor 44. We have that and a lot more to get into as this season's wildness just keeps on a-rolling. Of course, I believe I am joined by Liana Boraas, but I don't know if I accidentally picked up a fake one.
Oh my gosh. Am I a real bead? Am I a fake bead? Did you find me in the bird cage? I guess we'll never know.
I did, Liana. I do what I always do when I bring you onto the podcast. I open up the bird cage and I let you roost upon my arm, but I'm not sure if you're real or not.
Rah, baka. Is that a good bird noise? Did I do a good job? Is that what birds sound like?
I kind of did a chicken, which is a
Baka,
bird.
baka. Yeah, I don't know.
You're the real Liana. I think I figured that out.
Yeah, okay, that's all it took.
Well, I am really excited to welcome this guest on for the B&B. I knew that she was a lock the moment that the very first words she said to me upon me getting to meet her over Zoom, the night she officially won $1 million and the title of Sole Survivor, was singing the RHAP B&B theme song. So it was only a matter of time before we got somebody who I was talking about this very cast with, but a couple of months ago, of course, the winner of Survivor 42, the incredible Maryanne Oketch. Maryanne, how are you?
I am doing great. I'm so I'm just as shocked to be here as you are to see me here. It's as a fan of the podcast, no one knew because wasn't on Rob's Patreon, so there's no paper trail, so no one even knew I was a fan, and I'm here being a big fan. I'm like they don't even know how much I like them. But now I'm here, all real. Because I said a weird phrase to get here, which is how you know I'm real, not like Liana. You have to first see if there's two Lianas, right? That's how you know if she's real or not. If there's only one, she's a fake. But if there's two, she's real.
Okay. I didn't even think about that, right? You can prove the fakeness of one by seeing the presence of the other.
Yeah.
All right, I'll look around. I'll keep an eye out.
Right, is there like a paper mache Liana head that you can use that Puya made for you one anniversary?
No. All I have is a weird baby.
Oh, please bring
Oh my gosh. Oh my
like
gosh. That is a very
Oh
weird
my god.
baby.
Which is which? I can't tell.
You'll never know.
Well,
Okay,
it depends.
I must be real.
It depends on what tribe you're on,
I'm trying
whether
to make
it's real
you
or
the
not.
main one. There we go. This is what I want.
Does it look like do you see the resemblance? Does it look like me? Can you tell? It's pretty much the same.
I love its little wispy hair, just on its little
right?
forehead.
Cute. And it squeaks.
That's actually
that's the sound I made.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect Carson impression, right? It's a baby. It's Is it 3D print puzzles?
It's really good at puzzles. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just imagining this baby just sitting there in front of the blocks.
That's what it's actually holding. Like it's a little ball puzzle.
It's a ball puzzle.
It's for
It's for Samotion, Maryanne.
Motion, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Please. I don't want to talk about Samotion. That was so sad. I got too excited. I put my balls too close to each other.
I can tell first. I can say firsthand it's a tough issue. Well, you know who's not having problems with balls? The first 3 boots of Survivor 44. This was so I will say I really enjoyed this episode overall. I had a lot of fun, particularly in the first half with all of the fake idol shenanigans. I think we can get into maybe perhaps a bit of the fairness issue that I think Stephen rightly brought up as to like whether or not fake idols should be brought into the game by production. For what it's worth, if they're existing, they are creating a lot of fun television. And so I was enjoying that. It is sad to lose Claire here for many reasons. We were talking about this before we came on. I think we all are in agreement. Claire had big merge energy, in our opinion. I think it's just the way she carried herself, the way she spoke about the game. And so we were all probably amongst a lot of people pretty darn shocked to see her be the boot here, let alone the first boot out of her tribe. Maryanne, as I mentioned before, it's been about 2.5 months since you and I got together to give the really initial view of this cast. Since then, what has been your take on Survivor 44? Now that we have started to really put pen to paper, though some of us haven't because they're playing shots in the dark.
Everybody's just throwing everything on the wall. That is a way to play. That is a way to play.
It
I
is.
Yes, it's fun for me as the viewer. As a player,
Yeah.
that's a nightmare. Nobody voting. Like, not this episode, but I felt so bad in episode 2 when Kane was like in Brandon's hot seat for literally being the only person left that actually voted. Like, it's like no one else voted, and he's the only one that voted, and it was against. And he's like, this is where I thought the votes were going, but literally, like, so truly bad for my Canadian friend there. But I think the cast are all great. We're really seeing all these big personalities. And it's so interesting because like in another world, especially on Tika, you would have Yam Yam being the big standout. But because you have Carolyn there, it's like you have Yam Yam and Carolyn there. Then you have Danny, who's on Soka as well. Just like they just found just multiple great standout characters that shine. And that's not saying people who aren't these people don't shine. Like, for example, like Franny has like just a way of like going and speaking and talking about herself. Like Matt, every time he's speaking from Soka, was like, well, life kind of sucks, but it's okay.
Yeah, a little like Eeyore energy.
Yeah, broke up with my girlfriend and I don't have my vote. But at least now I have this real idol.
Oh, God, Matt.
Yeah, as Charlie Brown, they just keep pulling the football from underneath him. He just doesn't know yet, at least when it comes to the idol.
Truly. At least now for sure Owen has someone to like give his Charlie Brown crown to, because it's like Matt's not having, at least Matt, you know what? At least Matt right now thinks that he's having a good time. He's found an idol. It saved him. So he's going high. So he right now doesn't think he's Charlie Brown. So let him enjoy the ride for as long as it lasts.
I like that unintentional Charlie Brown, right? Like you think you're the Schroeder, but really you're the Charlie Brown. Check up on your head. There ain't no hair there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the power of perspective. You just got to view things the right way, right? If you view it like you have a real idol, life looks great.
It worked for him. He was on the hot seat. He got his real idol and now he's safe. So
yeah, I like that you bring up the characters, Maryanne, because I think that that's something that is definitely ringing true as we've now had 3 of these episodes. And I think what was interesting about this week is that it felt to a certain extent like the B-side of the album that we started last week, right? Because we saw very little Carson, very little Carolyn, very little Jam Jam, and we really got to see some of the people that we haven't been able to highlight yet. We got to see the relationship between Matt and Jamie. We got to see Heidi. Josh got a confessional, which was amazing. He exists. He does.
Yes.
He's here. He's out on the island. And so I'm happy that the editing was able to turn towards those characters and get to see more of the people that we really haven't had a chance to get to know yet.
Yeah, something that should be noted is much like your season, Maryanne, each tribe has gone to one of the first 3 tribal councils, which is a nice opportunity, especially in a 3-tribe format, right?
Yes.
Where after the immunity challenge, they only focus on the tribe that goes to tribal council. We get a sense of some dynamics that are happening, which, look, if we're Claire fans, isn't great, but I totally agree that it's really nice to get perspective in at least this moment as to how things are vibing out. And I do feel like we're also checking in with the other tribes to get a sense as to what exactly is going on, be it from an advantage perspective or even just small character moments, right? RHAP, the only thing we saw was Jamie Plant Mom and Matt tricking her into finding a fake idol. And Kane, who, Maryanne, I know you love this, him channeling his best dungeon master out on the island.
Yes. Just so, we had just a whole little scene with Kane, with him telling that he DMs, for 5E, I think, for Dungeons & Dragons. And I'm like, yes, we have more Dungeons & Dragons people. The thing which I'm a little mad at, not at Kane, is that they're acting like Kane's the first person to sing O Canada. I sang O Canada pretty much every single day on that island when making fire, because it's one of the only few songs you're allowed to listen to because it's public domain. And I would literally sing O Canada, the Star Spangled Banner, and songs which are 100 years or older, because then it's public domain. And I would be like, you can't stop me from singing because it's public domain. And I guess they just got so annoyed. They're just like, you know what? We're going to go and show Kane singing Oh Canada. But I get it because it's Quake. He's the only Canadian. So let's really show that there's Canadians on the show now.
I was going to say, you were on tribes at all times with other Canadians. Did they ever join in with you?
No. No.
Did you get the lyrics right though?
I heard about this.
Yeah, I did get the lyrics, but there's a lot of contention about whether Kane got the lyrics wrong or intentionally wrong, right? Because our home and native land, where it's we kind of, not our native land, we kind of stole it, right? So then
Yeah.
changed the word to sacred. There's been another person who
Mm.
recently in Canadian news changed the law and to be like, we are on native land for like as an acknowledgement in the song. Like people love just like going and just changing the Canadian national anthem. It's a kind of like a thing. We used to be like in all our sons command. It's now in all of us command.
So, Oh Canada is like the come on in guys of national anthems?
Kind of. So Justin Trudeau actually what he did, he went to like the member of parliament and he's like, so guys, he's a little Quebecois. He's like, so guys, I'm very bad at accents. He's like, we need to do if all in all of us command or in all our sons command. So should I change the national anthem or not? And then so that's why it got changed. Just like exactly how Jeff did in 41.
Yes. And did all of the Facebook Canadians get mad and start writing comments?
Do not change the national anthem.
Yes, they
okay,
did.
Good. Yes,
people did not like it. Then after, people were like, "Are they going to take away God next?"
As they do, as the natural progression of things. Yes, exactly.
Well, let's talk about some of the stuff that happened in this episode. And I do want to start with Claire's boot here because, Maryanne, this has been something that has been... Now, we are talking actually on Thursday night, so we are still like maybe on the tail end of a bit of the storm of the community that has really risen up over Claire's boot for a number of reasons. Fantastic character, but a bit of a look at the demographics of a lot of these first boots from these tribes, especially in the new era. I would love to get your perspective as someone who actively participated in this and was somebody who maybe for that reason was in the hot seat of one of the first tribal councils that we went to. What's been your perspective on seeing this trend happen?
It is so interesting because, I played in season 42, so that's the first season cycle since the pandemic. So when I played, in my mind, there was going to be a tribe swap, right? That's what it was. So when we were thinking about like our alliances, we were thinking who are going to be the great 4 people like at that time to then move forward. So when there's a tribe swap, we can then work with each other. Like who are the threats going to be? Who are they not going to be? Right? For 43 and 44, they understand that they're coming to a new era and there's very, very little chance, if pretty much a no chance, there's going to be a tribe swap. So now there's more of a mentality being like, okay, these are the only people I'm going to have until the merge, until we get a different colored buff. So to make sure that I go and make it to like the next stage, like I don't want to go to tribal more, which then goes and begets like keeping the tribe strong. Right. And like with Claire says, there's many different strengths, but a lot of times, if you think of strength, traditionally people think of physical strength first. And when you think of physical strength, usually like pretty much typically men are stronger than women. Right. So then that means that a lot of times men will have a higher chance of being safe. I know that when I saw Jonathan in my tribe, I'm like, there's no way in hell that I'm ever going to vote this man out, because then that means if I vote him out, I'm probably going to be going to tribal council more. And that's an advantage. And that's an advantage not based on like, he works out, but like for me, I can work out day in, day out for the rest of my life, but I'm never going to have the strength of Jonathan. Right. Which means that if we have a group of people who are thinking about that strength, then I will always be more of a disadvantage than someone else who might be physically stronger than me, which then puts people at a disadvantage for being voted out if you're thinking about tribe strength.
Well, I think okay, so I think we have like obviously very clearly identified the situation. I think Claire's boot especially really helps to solidify what's going on. And looking back at 43, similar trends, 44 starts out with similar trends as well. So I think then we have to turn and say, is this intentional, or do they care? Right? That's a question, because the question could be like, no. I mean, if you look back on old school Survivor, right? The idea of keeping the tribe strong and valuing strength in that way. Are you trying to create a game that is equitable? Is that important to you as a creator, right? Is it important to us as fans? I think as a lot of fans would say, yes, that is something that's important to me. Me personally, yes, that's something that's important to me. So naturally, it's something that I want to change. That really is the question that needs to be asked, is whether or not is that actually on the table, that equity is something that's super important, which I would hope it is.
Yeah, I would hope so as well. And I think what makes this night different, I don't know why I'm making so many Jewish references, but I guess it's fitting with Claire in this episode. But what makes this night different from all other nights is this felt like one of those times where explicitly the tribe was saying, okay, we perceive Claire as the weaker one than Josh, and that's why she is going. Is that sometimes there might be other things involved, right? Like Maddie's boot, it's interesting that we note the trend, considering that we were one idle play away from Brandon being the first person voted out of this season instead of Maddie, which would be a bit of a combo breaker. But I do think this is one of those times where actually people are saying, okay, we are voting this person out because we need strength in challenges. And to Maryanne's point, when the vast majority of your challenges involve some portion of pulling something or heaving something, and you really harped on, I think, what is the main thing? Because I think people are saying, it's 3 tribe seasons. It's, this 18-person structure. It's 26 days, what have you. I think you nailed it. And I think Adam Klein did as well on Twitter. I think it's the lack of swaps. I think that's the key thing, is that people are realizing, if you look at 41 and 42, as you were saying, like, I'm looking at Uwa, for instance, the Green Tribe. I think if Shan had known that they would be staying in these tribes until they got to 12, I don't know if she's booting somebody like Brad or somebody like JD. She might be saying, no, I'd much rather win challenges and guarantee that I don't get any votes. And so I do think that now that these players know that there's a very good chance that there won't be a swap in the upcoming episodes, it informs their decisions. I know that Lindsay, for instance, from last season posted in response to that, like, she in no way would ever have booted Ryan, even though she wasn't allied with him whatsoever, just because they needed him in the challenges. So I think that really is the crux of the argument and what it comes down to, which is like, and this happened all the way back from the beginning of Survivor. When the reason why they first instituted a swap all the way back in Survivor Africa in the fall of 2001 is because they saw that people were kind of seeing ahead as to what the typical path was in the game and make decisions based on that. And as a result, it's just a very easy paring down of who to get rid of. And now I think we're starting to see the cycle repeat itself again, now that there is a new era and there is a structure to it.
Exactly. And like, I don't think it was done out of malice. Like, I want to put that out. I don't think it's like, hey, let's do no swap and then so we can get the women out earlier more. But I think exactly like where it's like, tribe strength has always been something that's in people's minds. And especially, but like in older seasons, when you have no swaps, you have larger tribes. So there's a little bit more leeway and wiggle room to hide, right? But it's like, but especially because the tribes are so small, plus that there's no swap, it just exacerbates all the issues and the problems, which then goes and makes it then typically like the weaker members get voted out first.
I think there's another solution, which is redesigning the challenges.
Yes.
Because I think that if you design challenges in a way that you need smaller people, or at least they play a bigger role in the challenge, because usually it's like, oh, you gotta like be lifted up or something and get something, having like one person that's short, but it's really more you want somebody who's like thin and tall is really more the role you want there. So I think that's one way.
Yeah.
The other thing on a different point is about the narrative that the show is trying to tell us. And that's part of the reason why I brought up this concept of like, who is striving for equity on the show? Because I would look at these past 2 episodes, the emphasis of Claire with the sitting out of the challenges. I'm still wrapping my head around that. From Jeff, this is taking me like weeks.
Well, let me even put a pin in that. Go all the way back to the first episode, the first challenge, in retrospect, the only challenge that Claire participates in. They include a moment with her saying like, wow, all this for a Flint. And Jeff's like, yes, Claire, all this for a Flint. Welcome to Survivor. So I don't think we realized it at the time, but they were kind of painting Claire as like anti-challenge from the opening minutes.
Yeah. So, okay. So I don't think it's like, okay, I love that. I love that additional example, because then in addition to what the narrative of Claire is, there's also what we saw, and we talked about this already last week, but with Matthew with the shoulder, with Carson with the puzzles, of like how Survivor as a show is telling us, the audience, to think about challenges. And how we need to think that challenges are a huge part of the show and really need to be like a priority. I feel like that narrative is being like shoved towards us, because the whole Claire narrative didn't even feel like this is the reason why the Clarative. Thank you. Oh, I take Clarative for my allergies. So I feel like it wasn't.
I'm not crying. I just haven't taken my Clarative today.
I just haven't taken my Clarative yet. That's what happened last night. I was like, no, I'm not crying, whatever. Anyway, okay, one step too far. one too far. It felt more so than just like the reason for Claire's exit. Like it felt more heavy-handed than just, oh, Claire is bad in challenges, that's why she's going home. it felt like so heavy-handed, this whole like you have to care and you have to try super hard at challenges or you are flawed as a Survivor player.
I will also add, I had the great fortune of getting to speak with Claire in my exit press this week. She actually surmises that while maybe the nicely packaged narrative was, oh, we have to think about challenge strength, and Claire has given us, go girl, give us nothing on the tribe, she reasons actually that she feels like, from her perspective, essentially Danny had caught on to the game that she was playing, saw someone like Heidi as perhaps more malleable of a number one. And because she basically talks about how the first 5 days, she was totally golden. She reasons if Soko went to tribal council in those first 2 episodes, Matt is gone because he doesn't have a vote. He's on the outs with Franny. But she felt like for some reason around day 6, a light switch flipped in Danny. And maybe it was to the point that we made, right? Like, Matt finding his idol in particular, Danny feels like, okay, I've got him. I know that he feels safe, even though he's not. Let me turn my eyes onto somebody else, and those eyes may be focused on someone like Claire. So that is her perspective, and I could very much see that as well. We are in a hyper meta age where people are already targeting each other as threats. Look at what happened to Helen last week. But I do find it interesting, to your point, Liana, how it was presented at the outset, which wasn't a lick to do with any of that. It was more so, nope, we need the strength to move forward.
Yeah. Even because like knowing your strengths is such a strength as well too. Knowing it is.
No, you're right.
It is.
Yeah.
We had there are people sometimes that like are on like who like want to do a challenge, but they completely fail miserably at said challenge, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're willing to go and jump in and put yourself in the handle, but then okay, well, great. I lost the challenge. So then is it then knowing, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. I know that like y'all will be better. I'm gonna take that step back rather than being like, I want to play, and then after fumble the bag or feels that someone else will fumble. And like when Claire did challenges, like she did complain all that for Flip, but she got it done. Like she got like the puzzle was done. Like she was able to go and hold her own weight. So
yeah, it did help though. It's interesting that challenge also set forward a theme of this season, which is copying off the kid next to you, which is super fun. And that was a really fun moment of a lot of fun moments of Jeff narration in this challenge, between Jam Jam doing his own commentary of like, look what I'm doing. Jem's carrying a block by himself, and Jeff trying to do the live play-by-play of Carson's running back. Nope, he's going back. Nope, he's going back again. Of trying to literally follow these two tribes as they are running back and forth like they're playing a game of the floor is lava, going to the puzzle that was already solved and then back again.
That's the point. Know your strengths. Is your strength being a cheater? Awesome. Know your strengths. Go cheat. If you're like, look, I'm not smart enough to figure it out on my own, I'm going to copy you from the kid next to me. Go for it. There's, no rules, right? You can do whatever you want.
Nope. Listen, I've watched enough Outlast to know that there are no rules that can exist out in a society. You do whatever the hell you want to get ahead one day in the game.
Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't kick the puzzle. I thought they were gonna kick it down to like unsolve it. I was like, kick the puzzle, but they didn't kick it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, because if a puzzle was done and it was right there, I would have immediately cheated. I don't care, like, because what happens if all the other tribe members care? They're not gonna be like, they're cheating. No, they're gonna cheat too. It's not gonna be like, no one's gonna, if like Carson goes to the merge, no one's going, or Franny and Matt go to merge. No one's gonna be like, I'm mad at Franny and Matt. I don't want to work with them because they cheated on that puzzle on day 7. That's not what players are gonna do. It's like and it's in the grand scheme of things, it's so inconsequential to cheat off of someone. So if someone is giving you the answer, take that answer.
Yeah, first of all, I love the idea of the morality police out there on Survivor being like, you cheated. Jeff, they're looking at my paper. Yeah.
Mr. Jeff.
Well, it's funny because it happens all the time on the challenge where people will like knock over puzzles and like kick them over. And I'm trying to think of like, that doesn't really happen on Survivor.
No, it happens
right?
sometimes.
Sometimes, but not
sometimes they do but I think it's just, and I would imagine, Maryanne, I don't know if you can speak to this, but I'm assuming there's some sort of rule where like, once you've won the challenge and you like step away from the puzzle, you are not allowed to touch it again. Like once RHAP 2 celebrated, they couldn't be like, oh shit, okay, let's kick over the puzzle so nobody can look at it.
Like, surprisingly, no.
Oh,
Like,
See?
that's not something that crosses your mind though once you do a puzzle. Like, you're just like, I remember first challenge doing the puzzle and being like, oh my God, we're safe. Thank gosh. Like, we don't have to go to tribal after losing Jackson. And then, but you're so beat. You're just like, okay, now time to drink water, time to lie down. It's like, I'm just so happy. It's like, I'm just going to chill and then watch the other two tribes and see what happens. Right. So, like, I think that like Survivor's just pretty chill about what you do as long as it's not like super like blatantly making it as long as I think the rule is like as long as we don't make it unfair for you, we don't care.
Yeah.
Well, and also it's not like you are hurt by the fact that another tribe wins immunity. You're already safe. Like, what do you care?
Well,
yeah.
the lone exception though was what happened last season, right? When two tribes seemed to actively collude to make another tribe go to tribal council.
Yes. Yeah, that was wild. It gave me flashbacks. I'm not sure if Omer told you this, but at the first immunity challenge, Omer wanted to go and walk to Vati because Vati won and tell them and like congratulate them to start like a tribe alliance. And I was like, Omer, no, we're going to be hated. Don't do this. Don't,
yeah.
Which is so
classic Omer move.
Yes, I know, so classic. But like, which is so interesting because like you're playing that, and like, of course, it's like this is gonna be great when we get to a swap, and then we can now go. But then there was gonna be no swap, so yeah, people love colluding. People, and like, I'm pretty sure that they would have just allowed us to do that. There's like no big rule. Like, if you want to talk to someone, you can talk to someone, and then
I mean, we saw that with Claire on the sit-out bench.
Yep. Psst, hey, you.
Excuse me.
I like you.
I like you.
Well, it's interesting. I actually asked Claire about this because she did, of course, sit out again. And this time it was with Heidi and Lauren. And I'm like, did you try to get something going there? She's like, I tried. But Heidi was, and I don't think she was shutting it down. I think she was just really, she's that parent at the Little League game who's like really focused on their kid. And so you're not like, you don't care about this, right? Like, let's just like kick our feet up, chat, gab, gossip a little bit. And like, no, I really want to see how many RBIs that Jeremy hits in this game. And it's like, all right, well, clearly we can't really get something going right now.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder how that is sitting out on a bench in the tribe portion. Wouldn't know.
I know that's the thing. You were part of the Tika situation, right? Like you were down from the beginning and then you went to tribal again. So you had to play 4 strong for the rest of the prelim.
Literally unfortunate. I wanted to sit out. Like, I wanted to like experience sitting out, and I never got to experience sitting out. And I was so close to experiencing, I know, like, this is excluding the times when I willingly sat out for Rice and for Do or Die. But like, and I was so close to sitting out at the merge, at the merge in the peanut butter and jelly. But Drea hates peanut butter and jelly, and that it was taken away from me. So I never got to sit out of a challenge.
So close.
So close, yeah.
I know Hai mentioned this. Did you take this past episode's challenge as the take on your infamous ladder disaster challenge?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, it makes sense though. It's literally, if you look at it, it has the same structure where you start on a platform, you swim to a hook, you do something at the end on the island, right? But the thing is, a block has more stability than a ladder. So it's heavier to move, yes, but then once you go and move it, it's like you're going to be able to scramble up and the waves probably won't hit you down. So I think it's like, but I think what that shows more is just like how if you just change one variable, it really breathes new life to a whole challenge, right? Because at first when I was watching it, I'm just like, oh yeah, here's a new challenge that has a block. Then I'm like, wait a second, we've seen this challenge before. This is the exact same challenge. This is just the impossible challenge, but like they just swapped something new and it looks so new and everything.
I mean, that cube.
Yeah.
That
cube for a second.
Leon,
I thought we were back during that veto competition that you had to do right back in the day where you have to tumble the dice to get to the right number.
Oh my gosh, I loved that one.
I know that one. That was on Big Brother 19, I think.
Yes. Yeah, sure. One of the Big Brothers. Sure.
It was I actually know this. Taryn can fact check me. Taryn can fact check me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the cube. I'm so here for the cube. I hope we get to see more cube.
I love the cube.
I love the cube.
Someone needs to make like a fan cam of the cube. Because she's really giving, like she's flipping, she's tilting,
like
being climbed on.
Yeah, like when they were like running into each other a little bit, they were just like,
I want to see those cubes in a lip sync because they got tricks.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
As long as one doesn't do a backflip on top of the
Jumps.
other, then we're good, right?
Oh yeah, well,
Jumps
we all
over.
were kind of, you were in a Free Willy situation basically, fighting against the waves. But that cube, I don't know why they thought like, I guess to your point, Maryanne, they just think like, yeah, cube equals better. But I saw like Matthew kind of awkwardly straddling because it's not like a solid cube. It's literally just like what you built to support an egg to drop from the school roof when you were 12 years old
Yeah.
of just bare bone structure. And they're like, okay, I guess I'll climb to the top of this thing.
Oh my gosh, we just get Lindsay to scamper up. Probably if we had the cube, challenge with production would have to be like, Jonathan, you can't climb on this. You're the weight limit. The weight limit.
He could just drag the whole thing. I just imagine him inside it, just holding
lifting it up, picking up the
as a cube. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really hope this does show up. Just the cube ends up becoming I know we're going with like the medieval theming to Kane's absolute ecstasy, but I hope the cube gets to show up elsewhere.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
do love the
gosh.
cube.
Yeah, okay, wait, Maryanne, I need your
Yes.
opinion on the knighting situation.
Yeah.
Like, you've spent time with Jeff. Like, how do you think Jeff felt about the whole knighting Kane?
Honestly, I think he's fine. Like, Jeff is genuinely like he's so chill about so many things. Like he's probably like, oh my gosh, like Kane's like, I want to be knighted, and just like, I don't even know how to knight you, but like, go off, King, go off.
Yeah,
like
okay.
You do you. Like go Kiki. I thought it was great. Like you only get such little time with Jeff, so like you better milk, and you, especially when you play, you don't know if you're gonna be blindsided or not. So you better milk up all your Jeff time and everything that you want to do, right? So be blatant, do whatever you want to do. As long as it doesn't hurt people.
Would he do it if he had known that Kane was the one to apparently warp this sword
that
it barely fits in the shield?
Was so funny. That was so. We literally have a scene of him, and then he's like, "Wow, it really can't fit." That was
what happened to this?
Like, what happened? Like, it's been on a journey. Like, who did this? And Kate's like,
couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. What?
And then
with the same knife he warped, they're gonna get to the next tribal, and the knife's gonna be like a curve. It's gonna be like a scimitar, right? And then it's gonna be like, I don't know, Jeff, why it's a scimitar? That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Just ignore the like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh sounds that they added while he was like playing with the sword. I love that.
Do you think next time Kane could sword fight with Jeff? I mean, Jeff doesn't have a weapon, so I guess that's the issue. I mean, they could do like a sword on shield type of combat.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they get it first, he gets it first, or maybe Jeff gets the shield back first, right? And then
that'd be fun, right? Like, oh, I'll take this back from you, and I'll take the sword. I don't think so.
We get immunity.
You'll have to fight me for it.
Yeah, okay. Just defend with
if
the
someone
sword.
says that pre-merge, I'll actually be very tickled. You'll have to fight me for it with the knife. That'd be so great. Jeff, he'd be like, ha.
I don't know. Keep Dr. Will on standby, though, because I think we might have another injury going on of just like, well, we cut Jeff Probst's arm off. Do I have to go now? Am I voted off, Jeff?
Oh my gosh. Dr. Will, he's been paid in full. I think he's done pretty much all of his work already for the season, right?
Yeah. So was Dr. Will around when you were playing?
No, we had Dr. Ray, who's now in Antarctica, and she was amazing. Yeah.
Cool.
So like, basically, you can find all these doctors. Because the first thing I did when I came back, I just searched up Dr. Ray, and it turns out this is tea, but it's all available to people. So they actually contract like extreme medical workers from Australia to like go and be the medical team, right? So like it's just like a team that they go and like hire for survivors. You can just find all these people. So I guess because Dr. Ray's now living her best life in the coldest place ever, they now have Dr. Will, who's there,
Dr.
right?
Will, easy to remember, right?
Yeah, Dr. Will. So like he must have been there being like, sat down. I'm assuming that they gave him the contract for 43 and 44. He's like, 43 is fine. Let me just check on Carla's finger and Janine's head, but then we're good. And then like the first 3 days, like he's just sprinting, running around, like people are falling, people are bleeding, like people are passed out, need IVs, and he's like, oh my gosh, like so much is happening.
I'm still intrigued about this Matthew situation because like it seems hunky dory, and then he's digging this, he's like, ow, my shoulder. We're like, should somebody check on him?
I was so worried for him when he had to be pulled under. I was like, this man dislocated his shoulder. His shoulder's hurting, and he now has to go under a log where the best way you can go is to pull someone. I was like, I was worried, but thankful that his shoulder was fine. He probably like went, because this is another thing, which is no knowledge. You get checked by medical before every challenge, and you can get checked after if you'd like. And like, so he probably like, I'm just hoping, Survivor takes care of people, that he was like, hey, like, is my shoulder still good? And they're like, okay.
Yeah, because it looked bad when he was first grabbing it. And it's interesting because they also had like him, at least subtitle, being like, be sure to breathe. Then they cut to him with the shoulder injury. And I was like, oh God, please no. Like, I can't deal with another medical evacuation right now. And then I just kept waiting for the other shoe to drop or the other shoulder to drop, if it were. I was just like, okay, is he gonna get pulled? Like, when's he gonna get pulled? And then I had the exact same fear you did. It was like he's gonna get yanked through underneath that little stump block tree log, whatever, and it's gonna like yank right out or something. I don't know. I was terrified.
No.
Well, speaking of Matthew, I do want to actually, before we get into our usual stuff, I want to talk for a second about that really fun sequence of what we thought was initially a Jamie character scene. And then we're like, oh, this is awesome. Kooky character finds the idol. Carolyn last episode, Jamie this episode.
Nope.
And she shows it to Matthew. And Matthew says, oh, this is incredible. Because I don't know if he meant to or not, but he led one of his closest allies to find the fake idol that he planted. And we get drop extreme ways, full flashback, Liana.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I can't remember if it was in the Next Time On or one of the promos. You can see like a nighttime footage of someone's hand, like putting something by the water well. And I thought it was Matthew's hand because the hand had a bracelet. Matthew has a bracelet.
Well, the hand was in a sling.
The hand was exactly. I mean, he was wearing the same shirt. But anyway, I was like, oh, Matthew finds it. So then I had whiplash on whiplash because I was like, but I thought Matthew finds it. Oh no, Jamie Lynn finds it. Wait, Matthew did find it? So it was very much all over the place for me. And I think the combination of that segment with Danny leading what felt like leading Matt to the idol as well, I was just like, oh my God, we have two of the exact same thing happening where someone is leading someone else to a fake idol.
Yeah, except one is user generated, one is made by the gods.
Yes, the production gods.
Right,
yes.
The gods, it's like Prometheus, right? The gods created the stuff for them, and then they were able to make fire with it, as opposed to it being brought down on high, and then they have their livers pecked out. It was so much fun. We always love the use of flashbacks on Survivor, and this one didn't feel maybe as much of a rug pull as the whole, like, Jesse has Dwight's idol thing, where it just, like, manipulates how you feel about the outcome of something that we immediately knew about it. It is interesting now to also know that if a birdcage idol is used, it just becomes like your idol, Maryanne, right? Like no bells and whistles attached, just a regular, degular idol. And it also benefited from the fact that Ratu's real idol happened to be the ratty beads. We talked about this last week, right? How each tribe's real idol is different.
Yes.
And so Matthew could very easily replicate it by just cutting some spare beads. They're not making bracelets this time, so might as well use beads to make fake idols.
Yeah. Speaking about bracelets, isn't it so odd that Yam Yam and Cody both made the same hat?
So
except one's like one's an idol, one's not. Like that was.
Now it could be something. Here's my theory. I don't know who filmed at whose camp. Could it be possible that Cody, since he didn't know he was being blindsided that night, left his hat behind? And so
that hat was ratty.
So they cleaned up the shore, and Jam's like, oh, look at this hat. I think I can make it better.
Oh,
and so he just made it into a hat 2.0.
Okay. No. Because I think... no, sorry.
No.
Tika's on a different camp than where Cody was. The merge camp was my starting camp and is Soka's camp, except they're in a different location than us, but it's the same beach. And then Tika was where Ika was. Tika and Ika.
I don't remember.
Maybe like a message in a bottle. It floated over. Although I think it was like dried up by then. I mean, it was already looking pretty dry by the time of the end.
It's a short game. Maybe they'd benefit from that.
Yeah, maybe. What was that? There was something else I was going to say, and then it like just evaporated from my brain.
About the hat or about Matthew's idol?
Yep. Oh, yes. Okay, so Brandon still has the fake idol, right?
Yes, that the whole tribe knows about. He has this, it's called a medallion, but this thing is like the size of your hand if you see photos of it. It is like this kind of triangular woven piece of, I'm assuming, some sort of like glass or maybe hard plastic, but it is fairly chunky.
Hmm. Okay, because I was just thinking about, I was thinking about where are all the fake idols and where are all the real idols. That's like a whole conundrum in and of itself that I have to keep straight now. But they benefited, or Matthew at least benefited from the fact that the bead is the easiest of all of the idols to replicate because
Definitely.
like what is he going to do to fashion a coin? He's like out
Spare
there
change,
smelting.
spare change.
He's like broke off the end of the sword, is trying to like melt it down, like to
Yeah.
make a new one. So that was quite lucky that there were a plethora of beads that he could choose from, and that it was the beads in the first place.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have any coins for the vending machine? I'll pay you back, I promise.
You think
Yeah.
they're gonna discount their torches when they auction because technically they're not complete anymore?
Oh, that's interesting. Or
Oh.
is it sort of like the infamous stamp printed upside down, right? Or like the misprinted Beanie Baby where it has even more value because
Ooh.
it's different.
Who
Mm.
knows? Who
Hmm.
knows?
Okay, actually, that's okay. So I know how there's like the whole discussion about like the idols and fake idols and like what is fair and what's not fair.
Mhm.
One thing that I will tell you I think is not fair is the like beads versus the coins versus the medallion. Now that we're talking
Yes.
about it, because yeah, it's way easier to make a bead one than it is. They should be like littering the beach with some like coins or something, or like attach some like fake medallions somewhere. Like give them a medallion making kit or something to like teach them how to weave them together.
I think
Anyway,
that's just
just a
another
thought.
result. Sorry. I think it's just another result of like having the production give you, and there's something random, right? Because production's like, okay, we have a real idol and we have a fake idol, and we're gonna make a triangle, right? So one's a
Mhm.
medallion, one's beads, and one's like a little circle thingy, right? So
Mhm.
they're like, we have this great plan. But then after you have another player who's like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go find the real idol, but I'm gonna go and hide a fake idol, right? But because they went and hid the fake idol, they know that their idol's beats, right? But let's say for me, it's like I see the idol and it's a medallion. It's like not gonna be, I can't be like, oh, you know what? Let me go and like make a fake idol. Like everyone's seen that it's a medallion, so then I should go and this one's a medallion. So let me now make it a medallion idol. So it's like, especially because the players don't know about the mix and match, right?
Right.
Where it's like, where I'm very interested, where it's like, come merge. Maybe someone's like, look at my idol. It's like, haha, that's fake, but it's actually real, which will be, that's many, many weeks ahead. So it might not even happen. But it's
Mhm.
like now, it's like by going and placing this mechanic, you've limited the options of what players can do, especially with the beads and the fake idols as well, too.
I'm just
Mhm.
imagining, because there is a team that goes in between seasons, even during quick turnarounds like your season, Maryanne, and like clears the beaches and makes sure that like vegetation is planted so it could grow. And I just imagine someone just scattering coins. We're gonna make fake idols. I guess this will help. Where can I get hard plastic to just put in trees to make sure they're not real idols, but things that can be used for fake idols?
Yeah, like a fountain.
A little
Yeah.
fountain of
Coins
coins.
in the fountain. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they could have like a Jeff's wishing well thing, maybe.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Ooh, just wishing
Oh,
well. Ooh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna, speaking of decorations, I guess, the gargoyle at tribal council.
Yes.
I don't know. No thoughts. Just that. Just the gargoyle at tribal
It's the
council.
monster.
It is the
That
monster
the
now. I think it
monster.
has been invisible this entire time, and I think now it's fully formed, and it's like
Ugh.
become fully realized. Of like, I've been here the whole time. Now
On
you
Ghost
have to pay
Island.
attention to me.
I love it.
I love it too. I don't know if it's like Jeff wanted to just point out that particular piece of set dressing that he was very fond of, or if it's like I got to turn this into an analogy somehow.
That's tribal.
That could be like, well, I think, people were saying, okay, I don't know about this medieval theme. There are so many random props. There's like a set of armor back there. Could it be that they just need things to help Jeff come up with analogies when he's at the bottom of his barrel? Of like, Survivor's like a suit of armor. You gotta be protected. And he's just like looking around trying to pick out things to make Tribal Council more interesting.
Maybe. Maybe. Go
It's
ahead,
like
Liana.
it's like me doing Mad Libs. It's like noun, chapstick. Like,
Survivor's like chapstick.
creepy baby. I don't
You
know.
need it, you put it on and it protects you, but if you use it too much, it provides no use to you anymore.
And be careful licking your lips.
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it like the worm. Don't eat it.
Don't eat it like the worm.
Yeah, Maryanne, did you ever try eating worms?
No.
You were well fed. You were eating fish stuffed
We were
with
eating
advantages.
fish. Yeah. Jonathan just throwing out that little bamboo advantage. But yeah, I did not eat any worms. You know who did though? Tori. She ate
Oh.
anything and everything. This episode I think was like me just being like an old curmudgeon past player, be like, I did this first. Like, you had Yam Yam narrating at the challenge. I narrated myself at the challenge. Okay. You have Kate singing "Oh Canada." I did that first. Okay. I was singing "Oh Canada" before Kate even was on Survivor. And it's like you go and you now have what's another one? Like, I don't even know what we're talking about. There was, eating worms. Tori ate worms first. Like, I'm out here being so open. Like, why didn't they show? They're thinking it's all original. Oh, another one. Cody Cody being blindsided by his number one. I was Omer's number one. I did that first. Like, I'm just all this old, like, curmudgeon past player being like, these players are taking my flowers, even though I played after. Like, I think history. It's like inventing of the S. You know, the S that everyone makes in elementary school. Like it's like it's just invented again and again. But it's like it's up to like the people that be to see, well, who really invented it, which season invented it, where are we gonna show it, right? And then us players are just like sitting with like our little canes, hobbling, shuffling over, being like, I did that back in my day. When probably like 20 seasons later, someone's like, no, I did that first.
My little cane goes, ha, ha, hoo, hoo, ha.
That's a good one.
You think Tom Laidlaw was out there singing the Canadian national anthem too? Like, even before you, Maryanne?
Maybe Todd Herzog. He used to be dual citizenship. Maybe Todd was the first singing "Oh Canada." We'll never know.
We'll never know. Well, let's start getting into some of our B&B segments here. And let's start by talking about our predictions on Claire. Because I feel like it's going to be a contest for Liana and I. Who is less off the mark rather than who is more on the mark. Obviously, Claire stood out for a number of reasons back during the preseason. Liana, how did you think she would do before the season started?
Yeah, speaking of stuff we'll never know. So I had her making the finale. I said that as a mega Survivor fan, Claire knows the mistakes to avoid early and cements herself as a social center of the tribe, just the bubbly, fun person to have around. I said she would utilize her sneaking skills by peeping through the metaphorical keyhole in her parents' bedroom to catch Josh finding an idol, which she uses this to create a bond with him. I said she would lose final fire making to Carolyn, which is really tough for fans because they are both mother and we don't know who to root for.
Yes, the infamous, like, it's Kramer v. Kramer, mother v. mother.
Yes, exactly. Less lawsuits. And then her ally was Josh and her enemy was the wind because of the final fire making, I assume.
I would imagine so. But I don't know if it's a lack of wind or just too much wind. Because remember Edge of Extinction, right? When they're like, too much wind, we're doing this indoors.
Yeah, it's like the right amount of oxygen.
So I had similar aspects for Claire, but suffice it to say, not as lofty. I did have her making the jury. Okay. I said that she would lose the opening challenge for Soka, which puts an initial target on her and makes her fearful that she'll get taken out because of her size. I said that she would be the first to risk her vote in the season. But Soka's winning streak gives Claire the seeding money she needs to invest in alliances. As a result, Carla style, she is soon the hub of her tribe. That's how I want my pie I made, Carla style. Claire decides to throw the last pre-merge challenge to get rid of somebody she fears is not under her control. Vulnerable at Mergatory, Claire makes desperate moves to stay alive. While they work, it does peg her as a powerful person in the game. As a result, she'll continue to get votes until she is finally taken out. Her closest ally was Franny. Her enemies were Jam Jam and Carolyn. And the randomly generated phrase for Claire was, the father handed each child a roadmap at the beginning of the 2-day road trip and explained it was so they could find their way home.
Is that Hansel and Gretel?
Abandon them?
Sounds like Jonathan's dad, actually.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
Okay,
sounds like
it's
rough
terrifying.
parenting. Oh, we're going on a 2-day road trip. Well, here's your map. Come find me. I'm gonna drive ahead to the cabin.
Yeah, meet you there, kids.
All right,
That's on
well,
them.
I guess Maryanne, you're choosing between a finale making, Josh befriending, fire making, losing Claire, or a challenge losing slash throwing social beast, Franny allying Claire. So pick your
Oh.
poison here.
You see, with Liana, I really liked the thing about like, okay, someone finds someone with an idol, solidifies the trust. I really enjoyed that. And then after, but with Mike, I also really enjoyed with the, not good at challenges, loses the first challenge and social threat and was able to go and do the moving and shaking. But I think the reason I have to give it to this person is because this person, although they were wrong, were semi-accurate. And that's Mike. And I'm specifically talking about when you said she's the first to play the shot in the dark in the season, where she was the first in her tribe to play it. So that counts for something, right? So then after there was like more things that connected. Sorry, Liana.
Well, and you had jury, I had finale. I think it makes sense. I'm on board with the decision, Marianne.
Yeah, I had
support it.
Franny. You had Josh, who was the other active target besides
Yeah,
Claire.
a little bit off.
Yeah, what did you think about that, by the way? Because there certainly was an editorial choice, right? Being like, Claire probably besides the showmance. Actually, I was going to say, like, oh, Claire's gotten the most screen time out of all of Soka, but, like, the showmance and Danny are popping a lot as well. But
Mhm.
when it's between her and Josh, I know that, like, Dalton Ross tweeted something about how, oh, well, we know Josh isn't going because we didn't see his personal segment. I don't think they're doing that this season, but Maryanne, was there anything from an edit perspective that had you reading, well, Josh is too purple, we're not getting rid of him at this point?
No, I actually read it completely different. Okay.
Mm,
And so in my mind, in my heart of hearts, I was like, Claire's for sure going to make merch. So I was then like, okay, if Claire's going to make merch, these are the things that have to happen for Claire to make merch.
Mhm.
This is exactly what I did with Make Owen winning. But we can talk about that another time. And then, so I was like, so then after I'm like, okay, so what's going to happen? I'm like, first, okay, easy. Heidi's going to flip. And then Josh is going home. And then after with the confessional of Josh being like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna vote with whatever people are voting for, and I don't want to rock the boat. I'm like, Survivor does not like that. I'm like, they're putting that to be like, this is why you do rock the boat. This is why you don't just go for anybody else's plan, because that you'll end up like Josh. I thought it was gonna be like a cautionary tale about why we shouldn't be Josh, like playing as Josh, right? So that was what was happening in my mind. Then tribal council is happening, and I'm like, well, it's very clear to me that Heidi's voting for Claire, and I'm like, well, then Claire's gonna have the shot in the dark, and then Claire's then gonna be safe, and we're gonna have another safe. Like, this is great. Like,
mhm.
so many safes. This is wild. Then it opened up and it said not safe, and I'm like, that's so weird. I'm like, okay, I guess Heidi did flip, and it's gonna be a tie or something because Claire's not
Was
going
in denial for 21 minutes straight.
Not at all. Not one moment.
No! And then the first Claire came out. I'm like, okay, and now the second Josh is gonna come up. Then it was the second Claire. I'm like, okay, we're just being a little silly, a little crazy here. Like, it's gonna come up then. And then it's like the next person voted out. I'm like, oh, that was incorrect.
Oh my gosh. It took till literally the last second to be like, oh, she is going.
Yes.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that that's what a lot of people felt, that she had this a little bit more longevity in the
Mhm.
game. And that's why, it sort of came so surprisingly. And I mean, Josh also just had so little content. So, sometimes we have that where people who like Survivor is just sort of written off as like, okay, sorry, bye.
Mhm.
Like, so I think that's why it was probably so surprising.
Yeah, I did want to think about that because I do feel like I was talking with Rob about this a bit, where it wasn't like we didn't get to know Helen, but again, I will continue to emphasize, like, we are no longer doing a lot of the like, well, I'm glad that I'm playing Survivor because my turtle died when I was 7 and it taught me the power of resilience, which I'm happy for because again, as we've sort of been experiencing with this structure, too much of the same thing can lead to complacency or similar behaviors be enacted. And so it has become a bit more like maybe it was pre-40s, where Maryanne, I know that like 42 and I think 43 as well, maybe hold the record or are close to it for like most equanimous confessionals. I think like the only seasons where everyone has at least 2 confessionals per
Mhm.
episode or something like that. And so I think they might be defaulting back to a more of a pre-40 structure where they're not going to necessarily tell everyone's story. And it's tough because, like, I want that. I want to hear from everybody because everyone has a story and an adventure out on the island. But at the same time, I don't know if I want it in the way that it had to be presented in those first 3 seasons of, like, this is me. I'm defined only by the tragedies that existed outside of my life, and it has no basis on the way I play the game whatsoever.
I'm weird, and you could be weird too, and you could win.
I love that though, because we saw that.
No, Mike hates it. He hates it.
Sorry. Gotta go.
I didn't need to hear that.
Am I doing that cut? It's gone. Nobody knows that. I know. I love that though, because that was the perfect setup. And that wasn't, again, anything to do with like your like, well, when with my mom growing up back here, we got to know that later on. But I think it was very much like just a representative of who you were and a pretense as to how you were going to play the game. And I like it when that happens. It's less so when it's like, yeah, when this thing happened in my life, it encouraged me to be bold. And it's like, but what does that say about why you're doing this thing right now on the island?
I mean, we're character people, right? So it's funny to say, like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to get to know you, but I do want to get to know you in the context of the game because we are still Survivor fans. So it's like, yes, you are whole people that are coming in with backstories, and those backstories influence the decisions that you're making. So that's sort of the angle that I think we want to take. And so when, you know, Josh makes a decision strategically, how does his experiences, how do they shape that decision and influence that decision? Like, that's the type of stuff I'm interested in. And so if that does happen, or, you know, they want to show that, that's what's something that I would be happy to see, not just this is what I've experienced, like this is what I've experienced and this is how it influences how I play the game.
Like exactly like how Brandon discussed it as well too. How Brandon's like,
Yeah.
I'm in the NFL and I scuba dive, I do this, I do this, I do that. Yeah. And did you also notice the way that they put all the videos? Like the editors really popped off with that back, like behind the scenes home stuff. I was like, like it was so good.
Now, do you think though, when on island, the producers being like, okay, Brendan, like you better show up, like you better show me videos of all these things. So I'm not going to just do a whole segment about this without at-home footage of you baking and flying a plane and doing magic tricks.
Okay, this is a little illegal. They ask you after the show for all the footage. Like they'll ask for some before, and then they ask for some after. And they get and they ask for, and the thing is though, they asked me for some after. This is really bad. I'm talking about my mom, not about Survivor or anything. And so someone wanted to ask for my photos, but I was in let's say Fiji just for fun. So I couldn't go and give the photos. So, you know, my mom then sent the absolute worst photos of me that I've ever seen in my life. And then I'm like, well, we're not going to show all these absolute bad photos, you know, these nice, kind people. And then I'm like, and then after, you know, then they have to make sure that the photos, you have to name them, get everyone to sign like a clearing of the photo. And I'm like, well, it's a good thing because this photo of me in 9th grade, I don't talk to the person who's with me in the photo, so I can't get it cleared. And in the first episode, that's the first photo with me in the hat.
Blur it out.
Not blurred.
Oh,
and
not
I was
blurred?
like, not blurred. I was like, if I get a cease and desist, so, you know, Sam Hassel, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I tried.
Shout out to Sam Hassel. He's actually our backer. I forgot to say, he actually leases the B&B. He's our secret benefactor.
Whoops, yeah.
That's such a mom move, though, to be like, no, you look pretty in all of these photos. You're like, Mom, no, I don't. No,
or the
my eyes
one
are
with
crossed.
me with stickers on all my face. Like when I was like in 2nd grade, all the stickers. I was like, Mom, please. But like I know whoever was looking, was like, yeah, she's weird. Yeah, get that one. Get the one with the hat.
Yeah, get old sticker face up on our screen. Millions of people need to watch that. I mean, that is wild to think about that. Like you said, Liana, parents make that decision all the time. Like, oh, they're doing this thing for the yearbook where they're getting everyone's baby photos. So I did the one where you smothered yourself in peanut butter. But this is a case where it's being put on national television in front of millions of people that are already going to be judging you for the next 3 months.
Or the happy birthday jump scare. That was my mom. My mom loved that.
Of course. Yeah, exactly. Classic mom move. Oh boy. Okay. Well, we do have a game to play today.
Cremate all punks.
Well, it's actually funny that you bring that up. We are playing anagrams today.
We'll bring some context to that because I think Maryanne just
yeah.
said that and kind of left it in the air, and everyone's just like,
Look, she says weird phrases, right? We just kind of like acknowledge it and move on, all right?
out of
That was
context.
my
You
phrase.
listen. You cease and desist on out of context. Okay, do not take that. No one ain't Maryanne slander on this internet.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But yes, that was indeed Maryanne's anagram name back when we played this in Survivor 42.
Yes, exactly. We knew you were a fan, so we thought, what better way than to help you usher in the new era of Survivor anagram names. And maybe one of the season 44 contestants will be so taken with theirs as well. So for those of you unfamiliar, for the anagram game, essentially what I've done is I've taken the names of the contestants on Survivor 44 and I have rearranged the letters to make some brand new words or phrases. So what is very helpful, and we definitely encourage here on the B&B, is to pull up the names of the contestants of Survivor 44. So Maryanne and Mike, I encourage both of you to do that. It will definitely help because I am using full names, so both first and last name, in order to make these anagrams. The other thing that we need to do is we need to create a shout out number, word, noise, something that will indicate that you are ringing in to buzz in for
I thought that was the phrase shout out number word noise. I was like,
yes,
I don't
you know
understand.
who that rearranges to? No, I don't know. So because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the phrase and then the first person to buzz in will guess. If they guess incorrectly, then it goes to the other person to try to guess. So Mike, let's start with you. What do you want your, what did I say? Noise, word, phrase, sound to be?
Well, listen, I know that unfortunately she was in short shrift this episode, but I have to go with Carolyn. She is the source of some of my favorite Survivor noises in the show's history, so I have to go with like a whoa! Just like a typical Carolyn holler that she, like, I don't know, saw a bug fly by. She saw a butterfly land on her nose, and while Pauly Calafiore cried, she hollered.
Yeah, don't you land on me. All right, so we've got a Carolyn yell from Mike. Maryanne, what do you want?
Oh my gosh. You know, I'm going to have to go actually with my Canadian D&D fan, Kane. And then, so I'm going to go and do like a sword that's being quickly drawn to ready to go. Oh my gosh. To be ready to go and
to fight. Yes.
To fight.
Yes. To go to battle. Okay, great. So while Maryanne sorts that out. Okay, good. So I think we're all good and ready to go. So I am going to read the first phrase. Tubular creeper.
Ooh, tubular creeper.
Tubular creeper. Oh God, yes, Mike.
I know who it is.
Is it Bruce Peralt?
Yes, it is. A few others for Bruce are crab eel rupture, which sounds like Dr. Will had to maybe deal with a couple of those on the first day. And recuperate blur, which I hope that he does indeed recuperate.
It all seemed like a blur to him because he had a concussion. So yes,
really
while he was recuperating.
Yeah. All right. So we have 1 point for Mike.
Okay.
Let's go to our next phrase. Damn, nay ass. Yes.
Daddy Massa.
Yeah.
Damn, nay ass.
That's amazing.
I think it's because Maryanne has that cat call on the ready. She's ready to like whistle him down. Damn, nay ass.
Damn, nay ass.
Oh my gosh.
Station at that firehouse waiting for him to slide down that pole.
Stop!
Wish I was that paper in your mouth.
Oh my goodness. Mike, drink some water.
Liana,
cool down.
what? Wait, can we talk about that for a second? The day he ate the real clue.
Oh my gosh. Because I mean, the next time on like ends with him doing that. And so just like that whole segment, I was like, oh my God, Danny's going to eat the paper. Danny's going to eat the paper. Just the way he does it too. Danny's physical mannerisms are so interesting to me. He's kind of like, I don't know. I hope this isn't, because I don't mean this in an insulting way, but like gremlin-y. Like he's like running around and he's like rolling on the ground and he's like scooting up to Matt Blankenship to be like, what do you have in your pocket there? And he's like just like, "Hua, hua, hua," like moving all around. It's just so fascinating to me. Like I am so enjoying Danny on the season so far.
It's so interesting too, especially like as me as a fan, that note would be kept. Like I will be bringing that note home. Danny is like, that note does not need to be kept. It just needs to be with me for a period of time. You know what happens after the note? Like it's just a great, or like even it's like, oh, I found an idol. I can't wait to tell anyone. Nah, like that.
I'm not gonna do that.
I don't know. I think like Survivor, oftentimes firefighters are some of the most electric people that they have cast on the show. I have no idea what it is that makes you maybe putting your life on the line each and every day, fighting the pure essence of nature, one of the 4 elements, just gives you this larger than life personality. But I feel like, to be honest, aside from JP Hilsebeck, we are like batting nearly 1,000 when it comes to casting firefighters on Survivor.
Yeah, you got Mike.
We got Mike, Jeremy, and Keith.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Someone needs to do a character study on that. Like, what is it about firefighting that just makes you such a like charismatic force on Survivor?
Yeah, and we need like, I don't know, I think we need like a Chicago Fire CBS version that it's all the firefighters that have played on Survivor living together.
I would absolutely watch that. Absolutely. Like throw all of the people we just talked about in there, from Mike to Keith to Jeremy to Danny. Like that would be so entertaining.
I'd watch it if it was on Global, but sometimes distribution rights are weird in Canada. Like the channel that has Survivor does not have The Amazing Race. That's on a different channel.
That's weird. Well, we'll do our best. Well, plus, come on, Maryanne, we got you. We'll hook you up with
Thank you.
episodes.
Like I didn't get to see what happened after Lingo because Lingo doesn't air in Canada, so never got to see the secret scene.
That was weird, right? Being like, there's a sneak peek of Survivor. It's like when they did, you want to watch the Super Bowl for an Ant-Man trailer? Like, Survivor has now ascended to that level, apparently.
No, I was just shocked RuPaul had a different show. Like I watched episode 2 in the US and I'm like, is that RuPaul?
Yeah.
Like doing Wordle?
Yeah, I had the exact same reaction. Apparently the lingo existed first before.
Oh, it did. I spent many an hour watching the Chuck Woolery version on Game Show Network that had janky little 3D balls to represent that. The fact that, it basically was Wordle before Wordle was a thing.
Okay. Noted.
All right. We're all tied up here.
And speaking of lingo, actually, we're doing a lot of letter rearranging.
Yeah.
See? Okay, well, I will let you know if the letters are yellow or green here on this next phrase. Mama Dilly Pod.
Ooh. Mama Dilly Pod.
Mama Dilly Pod. Mama Dilly Pod. Mama Dilly Pod. Oh, gosh, yes.
Is it Maddie Pamia?
That is correct. Yes.
Ooh.
She is Mama Dilly Pod. I know we already have Plant Mama or whatever. Plant Mama.
Whatever she wants to call me.
So, yes.
Yeah, so Jamie's necklace says Plant Lady. She's assuming no parentage. But because Matthew was called Plant Daddy, he then referred to Jamie as like on-island plant wife, I suppose, and Plant Mommy or whatever she wants me to call me.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yes, that makes sense. All right, next phrase. A macho mayor.
Now, A is in like A-Y?
Yes. A macho mayor.
Oh!
Yes, Mike.
I mean, it's got to be Jam Jam, right?
That is correct.
Ooh,
yes.
Thinking about those two Ys.
All those Ys.
That's
good. Yes. One of the other ones for him was Maraca Homie Yo, but because it's an M, it looks like an R and an N as well. And I kept reading it as Maraca Horny Yo. And I preferred that so much better.
People should use that as their next You Up line.
Maraca
Horny Yo, Maraca Moti. Want to shake me?
Oh gosh. Shake
I'm
me,
I'm full of beans.
I mean, not if you play Survivor in this era. No food, Mike. You just be full of worms.
Shake me, Daddy. I'm full of worms.
Yeah. And Jeff gets less and less nice.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and put Mike in timeout now. So, Maryanne, this one is a solo play.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, great. Let's see if you could get this next phrase. Arrogant crest. The phrase is arrogant crest. No.
I'm from jail. This is my one phone call.
All right, Maryanne.
I'm really bad at this game.
4, 2.
I'm innocent. Let me out of horny jail.
Okay, I think I gotta give it to horny Mike Bloom.
Wow. Is it Carson Garrett?
It is arrogant crest.
I'm really bad at this game.
Well, the good news is, Maryanne, is you can eliminate any of the 5 people that we've done before because, spoiler alert, there are no repeats.
Yeah.
So now
I don't have a way to mark them off though. That's the sad part. So I just have to like mentally. I'm using too much of my mental head.
The mental head, yes.
Your mental, yes, it is. That's too much. Okay, well, Mike, you do have 4 points. You are beating Maryanne, who
and I'm on parole out of horny jail.
We'll take you out of horny jail. I guess we'll allow you to participate again, I suppose. A few other ones for Carson.
Being on Survivor is a lot like being out of horny jail.
Nope.
That wouldn't clear. That would not clear SMP.
Sponsor. Yeah, exactly. This is not going to make it out. Okay. The other couple ones were Carrot Strange, which I really liked, or Strange Carrot. Could go either way.
I love Strange Carrot.
And Retract Groans.
Oh.
How do you do that?
Yes,
yeah,
that
like
one. The second one. Yes, exactly. Where you take it back, like you like suck it back up. Okay.
I like that's how they make the clicker noises in The Last of Us. They just go like
There you go. Okay, our next phrase is Ahead Wars.
Ahead Wars.
Or Wars Ahead.
Oh.
Oh no, I did my wrong sound too.
What was that?
I don't know. But
that was your retract run.
That was my retract sword. That was like a
yeah, that's perfect. Bonus points. Okay, I'm gonna give.
Yeah, you didn't realize that the sword was actually in another person. So when you were pulling it out, that's what I was
pulling
thinking.
it out. Yeah.
Is it Sarah Wade?
Yes, that is correct. It is Sarah Wade.
I need everything.
That Sarah Wade sounds like the name of like some sort of confectionery company. That's what I always. Maybe it's the Sarah Lee, but that's always what I think of with Sarah Wade. Like, oh, it's got nothing to make, but I have a sweet tooth. Let me just like pop some Sarah Wade in the oven, and I'll have brownies in 5 minutes.
Ooh, I love some Sarah Wade cookies. Does it sound?
They leave you feeling empty because they don't have any votes.
Aww.
Well, now she has her vote. Only no vote for the first bite.
Right.
Yeah, and then
Matt, on the other hand,
it'll actually take a bunch of stuff from other desserts if it plays its thing correctly.
Yes, the fruitcake of advantages. Just everything gets put in there.
I didn't think I could like this advantage worse than you described it as fruitcake.
Yeah, just scrape whatever's on the table into the cake. That's how fruitcake's made, right? It's just like whatever's laying around.
Oh yeah, the entrails, from your regular cooking sessions.
That's what it feels like.
All right, let's go to our next phrase. A grandma meddles Whitey.
Yes. Oh no, there was a W. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get it wrong. Is it Matthew?
Yes.
Bridgestone.
It is. Yes.
Oh,
yes, it is Matthew. That's correct. I just took out the hyphen, but I did.
Can you read this again? I'm obsessed.
Yes, a grandma meddles Whitey.
Oh no.
I don't know.
That's like a headline.
Yeah.
From Florida.
Florida man.
Yeah, a Whitey grandma meddles, I guess. Could probably
Your
be
grandma meddles Whitey.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of letters, right? So, because he's got the hyphenated last name. So, but all of them had to start with A. I mean, I used a tool. I'm not this smart to come up with my own anagrams. A stalemated mighty wren.
Oh,
that like could fit with the medieval theme somehow.
Okay.
Like a fighting
Ren fair.
Yeah, something like that.
You can get a turkey leg and you bite it like Sarah.
And you only need to use it with one shoulder. It's the perfect meal.
Exactly. You don't need 2 hands, just the one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are closing things out. Maryanne, you have 3. Mike, you have 4. A few left
Ooh.
to
Ooh.
go. Let's see if you can catch up or if Mike can hold on to his lead. Here is the next phrase. Angelic worry. Angelic worry.
Ah!
Oh, that was you.
I think Mike got it there.
I'm going to give it to the person who invokes the very sound I'm making, Carolyn Weiger.
That is correct. A few others for her. Crawling your and
Ooh.
rarely cowing.
Okay.
COWING. Rarely
Yeah,
cowing.
she's there. I don't know if that is like cowering, but she is a very brave, bold person. So I
Hmm.
think that would make sense.
Yes. The next phrase is ban condom trot.
Oh, all right. Well, I found my slogan. Oh!
Oh.
I didn't know if Mike was just like yelling or if he was doing his buzzing sound.
That's the beauty of the noise. That is the Renaissance man, the Ren Man, if you will. That is Brandon Cottom.
Yes, yes. The another one for him that I thought was really fun was Corn Motto Band, which I think is going to be the name of my new band. We are the Corn Motto Band. We just
Okay.
covered that like TikTok song
It's
with the kid and the
corn.
corn. Yeah, it's got the juice. We're just going to play that song over and over again.
Listen, it's good to be a one-hit wonder. Better than no-hit wonder.
It's true. I believe, Maryanne, you are mathematically eliminated, but let's see if you can get one
Don't
more,
worry.
more in your pocket.
I've done this before, being mathematically eliminated in a competition.
Well, let's see if you can get this next one. Think Batman lips. Think Batman lips. Yes, Maryanne.
Is it Matt Blankship?
That's right. You've gotten both of the Matts.
Oh, so we know what Franny's envisioning every time she looks at him.
Yeah, to move over your long rod. We're thinking Batman
We're
lips.
thinking about those sweet, sweet Batman cow lips.
And when she thinks about it, she texts you horny, whatever. See, it'd be funnier if I remembered the phrase.
Oh, maracas.
Maracas horny.
Morocco horny, yo. That's the phrase that she sends back. Yes.
That's her like rogues gallery identity is Maraca.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining Matt Blankenship as Batman, and it's very funny.
But he's like
it would actually.
No, go ahead, Maryanne.
No, I was about to say it'd work. Like, yeah, my parents died in a robbery, and it's okay. Like,
yeah.
Like Matt lost 2 votes. Batman lost 2 parents.
2 parents.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, no, he's like sad sack Batman. Like, he's like, the lot in life is just kind of sad, but he's got some hope now with his fake idol and his road trip relationship.
Who is his Alfred? Like, is it Franny?
Claire?
I mean,
I feel like
Alfred
Claire's more like a Commissioner Gordon.
No, I think like it's Danny. I know you're Batman. I know you got the
Oh
suit.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's actually very true. Yeah. Oh, I caught you. You're Batman. I know
Yeah.
you're Batman. I'm gonna help you.
Yeah, and kind of like smart, like one step ahead. Like I always feel like Alfred like really knew what was going on, you
But
know?
this would be like if Alfred like put the bat suit like on Bruce Wayne's bed and was like, "Oh, you found the bat suit. I guess you're Batman now."
Oh, looks like you're Batman now. Yeah, he's like they're really bad at putting on clothes. The other one for Matt was lambkin that spins.
Ooh.
Which
Oh,
also
like a
I feel like
shawarma?
kind of fits Matt. Oh, I didn't think like
One of those like
dead.
rotating sticks.
Yeah, no.
of
I
lamb.
got yeah. No. I got oh,
That
you
sounds
meant,
so
I meant
good.
a cute little lamb that's spinning, not like a meat stick that spins.
No, I'm not thinking about meat.
Well, are you thinking about Batman lips? Because Franny sure is. No. The last one here is Amen Fryer in.
Ah!
Yes, Mike.
This would be Batman Lip's love interest, Franny.
Yeah,
Aaron.
that makes
That's
sense.
right. Yes.
Oh, now I
amen.
can't. I may now need to figure out. We're like, how do we differentiate? One goes by Matthew, but he's calling Matt on the island. Matt Blankenship may have to go by Batman Lips on this podcast.
Batman lips.
Batman lips. Yep. Yep. Amen, Friar in. Yeah, there were a few. So other people, like Heidi, for example. Well, so first, let me pause. Mike, congratulations. Although Maryanne, you put up quite a fight. You got 4 points to yourself, which is fantastic. A few of the others, because we didn't go through everyone. Helen just has so few letters in her name. Helen Lee, that's her name. So she got one. One of hers was heel nil, which, like, I don't know. That sounded weird to me. Heidi has so many words, but like the algorithm didn't know what to do with it. So hers all started with a ba, which is apparently a word. So that could be like a really good Scrabble word, like BAA. A
Well,
ba, and then
ba's a sound that a sheep makes. Yeah.
thank you.
Bah.
Yes, a ba. Like greedier length slit or registered Glen hilt, which maybe is what the sword is, has
Oh.
a registered Glen hilt on it. I'm not quite sure. Josh, his top one was Wild Josher in a very creative way. Very exciting.
Josh Wilder.
Wild Josher.
Yeah, a little indicative of Josh. Or I heard jowls, which I actually thought was kind of fun.
Ooh.
So anyway.
I like that. It sounds like a bad improv show. Like, oh, I need a suggestion. I heard jowls.
I need
heard
a body
jowls.
part. I heard jowls.
Jowls?
Liana's just looking around.
Yeah, at Starbucks. Yes. Okay, well, that does it. I hope that we created some fun new phrases for maybe some of the Survivor 44 contestants out there.
Yeah.
I hope for the cycle to continue. We talked about it continuing in bad ways in some capacities, but hopefully, like you, Maryanne, listen to this podcast, fell in love with your anagram name. Maybe one of the many Liana throughout today. We caught one on the line. We went fishing and we caught something.
I'm really hoping it's Matt Blankenship.
That'd be
With
so
Think
funny.
Batman lips. Yep. Classic.
Well, we like to close out the B&B by, of course, giving our guests the opportunity to draw a spotlight on a charity or cause that is very important to them. Of course, existing outside of not only Survivor, but the Goofy podcast that talks about Survivor that is the B&B. Maryanne, it is all on you. Is there anything in particular that you want to highlight this week?
I don't think that there's anything in particular, but one thing which I do want to highlight, which I think is really cool, is I am a graduate of McMaster University, and McMaster University started this really cool and like really cool charity and fun where the focus is they're going to be going to like underprivileged or underserved schools in the Hamilton community because McMaster's in Hamilton. And what they're doing is they're trying to encourage high school students and helping them with applying to university, because a lot of times it's very hard for people who don't have parents who went to university, so they're first generation graduates, to go and figure out the university process. Like, I went to school at Mac and I had friends who went to school at McMaster, and like they were like 1 out of 2 people who went to university in their whole graduating class. So like being able to go and like reduce that barrier for higher education is something which I'm really passionate about. I'm really cool, and it's really cool that McMaster is doing that. Not sure if any other schools are doing that, but I think it's really cool as well how Mac is doing it in the community, because a lot of times it's like, yeah, well, I can go to university, but I can't afford living in residence, living in the XYZ. But if you're targeting community with the school where people are going to be going, they already have like hopefully a place to stay. It makes that barrier to go and have a higher education even like less of a barrier. So really cool, really excited, and I really flowers to them.
That sounds really awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's odd to sort of translate it to Survivor. I feel like Jeff looking around at the set dressing and tribal council, but like, I know it certainly has been a comment from fans, like looking at especially modern day casts, right? Like, certainly, I think just due to job circumstances or what, a lot of people do come from college educated backgrounds. And to your point, that can be easier said than done for a lot of people from a lot of different communities. And so props to, the people in your area. And I'm sure a lot of people around your country and around the world that are making it easier for those to pursue that higher line of education to
exactly
not only get onto these reality shows, but also make a better life for themselves in general.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's so cool. I think it's great. I love the community aspect as well too, because it always shows that if you start from your community, you get better outcomes than if you like work on something that's more general. So I really like what they're doing.
Yeah, that is so sweet. Well, Maryanne, this was so sweet. Getting to have you on, officially making your B&B debut. It was an absolute delight. Thank you for coming on, for spilling the tea, for playing some stupid games with us. We had a fantastic time with you.
Thank you. I know that I'm known to cremate any honks, but I think I'll keep you two alive.
All right. Well, I'll stop. I won't soak the holes in the back. Woo. All right, good. I'll turn down the heat. I was all ready. Oh my God. I love this. This is incredible. Well, Maryanne, if people want to catch up with anything and everything you're doing out there on social media, because you are covering Survivor 44 in your own capacity, how do people check that out?
Yes, I am a serial life tweeter. I have been since I was 17. And so you can find me on Maryanne Oketch on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram posting sporadically on Maryanne Oketch. And you can find me on TikTok posting even more sporadically on Maryanne Oketch. Very easy, just simple around the board. And if you want to see me professionally, you can find me on LinkedIn at Maryanne Oketch. Or if you want even more professional, you can find me on MaryanneOketch.com. So just spell my name, put it on whatever you think it, I'm probably there.
For my professional girlies.
For my
Catch me
professional
on
girlies.
LinkedIn.
I don't know how to use LinkedIn though, so.
If you're
No one
that
does.
cube
No
from
one
the
does.
challenge, find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All right, Liana, what do you have? You have a lot of podcasts linked in your professional podcast portfolio for this week.
I do. I really do. Well, first, you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. And this is not the first time I'm going to be talking about this particular Survivor episode because I'm going to be joining Rob on the feedback show this week on Monday to get into, of course, all the fantastic feedback from the fans and really dig into some of the moments that we really didn't have the opportunity to talk about today. So for sure, check that out. In addition to Survivor, I'm also covering Masked Singer. So that is going on. Puya and I are talking about everything from season 9, and then Drag Race is, of course, going strong, and we are covering that as well in the middle of season 15.
Amazing. You can follow me, of course, at a Mike Bloom type. As I mentioned before, had a really great chat with Claire. Claire, as always, really upfront and out front about a lot of stuff. She goes into the strategy behind her setting out and sort of her response to perhaps the trends that have been happening. She talks about everything that was happening back at camp, how she does not hate love, that yes, she may make cases about the possible showmans, but she actually really did enjoy being the third wheel of a Franny and Matt. She talked about how she actually came up with the idea of playing the shot in the dark way before Tribal Council. She figures out the numbers there. I was just so happy I got the opportunity to talk with her. Yes, of course, I wish that it happened in May, but I'm just grateful I got the opportunity to talk with any of these cast members, Claire especially, so you can check that out over at parade.com. Also doing Exit Press for Top Chef, which recently aired its 20th season featuring Maryanne, some denizens from Top Chef Canada as well represented.
Ooh, yay! We got chefs in Canada, we do.
Yeah, and a whole Top Chef as well, and showing up on Top Chef season 20. I mentioned this before, but so last week, I made Rob and Chappelle on Nothing But Netflix dip their toes into the frigid waters that was Outlast on Netflix, covering the first 2 episodes. But this show is so freaking bananas that I made them watch the whole thing. We're following up this weekend, getting their thoughts on the entire thing. Maryanne, have you seen or heard anything about Outlast?
I have heard about Outlast. I was actually talking to Lindsay from my season about it literally before we started recording this. And we were talking about like how it's all of the Survivor with none of the fun.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess it's fun if you like mental warfare, sabotage. If you love that, then you're just going to have a bucket full of joy on Outlast. It is an absolutely wild show. I know that Omer watched it and is obsessed with it. So if you want to check it out, myself, Robin, and Chappelle will be doing the full spoiler recap about the series this coming weekend on Nothing But Netflix. And then over on post-show recaps, the usual-ish Star Trek, Mandalorian. We actually just finished covering The Last of Us, which had a very polarizing and I thought very enjoyable finale. So all that type of stuff going on, which I again put out on Twitter, on Instagram, at a Mike Bloom type. So that's going to do it for this week on the B&B. Next week, we are going to be joined by someone who subjected Maryanne once upon a time to a game or two before Liana did. Jordan Kalish, jaunty Jordan Kalish himself, is going to be making his way, much like Jamie, planting seeds, baby, and we'll see what grows from the podcast next week, as seems like something big is coming, or something earth-shattering, as Jeff could say. I don't know. Again, I also didn't watch the Lingo promo, so I don't know exactly what might be happening. But either way, Liana and I and Jordan are going to break it down. And also, again, check out Liana talking with Rob this coming week, and send in feedback as well. Send in fun questions to answer. Just don't have it be Liana talking to Chat GPT for 2 hours. Send in stuff
please.
for them to talk about. Thank you all so much. If you have game ideas either for next week or beyond, you can email rhapbnb@gmail.com or use hashtag rhapbnb. We are receptive to any and all game ideas that may come our way. We are 3 episodes in, and the finale was confirmed. So we're looking at about 10 more weeks of B&B, which is a long time, but I'm excited to spend it with you, Liana, and this kooky cast of characters that is to come. That's going to do it for this week on the B&B. I have some papers that I'm going to go gobble down, but thank you again for listening. Maryanne, thank you for coming on. Liana, great work as per usual. Next week, Jordan Kalish recaps week 4 of Survivor 44. Until then, we'll check you out at your next stay.